You listen to the Royal Rant,
And this is Tim.
where we talk about the LA Kings who just completed a road trip. Thoughts, Tim?
I mean, not too bad, right? I mean, as far as what could have taken place, picked up a lot of points, you know. So,
Well, if you go back to the Blues game, they ended up like what 3-1-1.
hmm
Had that beating Detroit in regulation. That was a good
hmm
game. So today, kind of were just terribly outplayed by Carolina, right?
yeah, and Forsberg was
And
really good.
awesome. So this is kind of one of those OT losses that you're okay with because they tied it late. The ones we don't like are the ones when the Kings are leading, they choke away a lead, right? Which they
Yeah,
did
but
all the time, and then don't win in overtime in the shootout.
yeah,
But
I was
hey, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was shocked they came back today because I was blown away because yeah, they didn't look in it, and what they end up with 13 shots on goal. I
Yeah,
know Carolina doesn't give you a lot and they block a ton of shots, but I'm like, man, like after 3 periods, that is crazy. I was shocked they tied it up. And then in that Philly game was so unbelievably bad. And I know early Saturday morning games are always bad, but that was just like so lame. And they blew a 2-0 lead again. And I was just, I was hoping, I was like, man, I hope that the game gets snowed out today. I was like, I don't want to sit through another one of these games. I don't want a game to go in overtime again, but the better result, right? So, man.
have they announced when they're going to make up that Columbus game? Because they have to make that up
Yeah, I did. Is it
because the Kings
sometime
are
in,
probably going to use that to squeak it into the playoffs.
I think it's sometime in March. I think they
Yeah.
did announce, yeah, March 10th or something like that. But I'm not sure.
So Quentin Byfield goals in 2 games in a row.
Yeah,
Is he? Think he's going to go on a heater for the rest of the year? There's what, like 28 games left.
I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be like negative, but like he's just so inconsistent. And I feel like if he was ever gonna find his groove, he would have found it by now. I don't know, that wrist shot was just crazy in the overtime game against Philly. I mean, that was like world class. But then sometimes he'll just miss the net by like 4 or 5 feet with the same wrist shot.
I mean, that goal he scored today, that was a nice finish because
Yeah, for sure.
he had because Kempe put that puck through with like 3 sets of skates and
Yeah.
got it over to his stick, and
No, that was cool.
he had a lot of use on that pass, so that
Yeah.
was a nice finish by him, especially in crunch time to tie it.
No, yeah, that was cool, and I mean, that game in Philly too, I mean, I was it Konechny? He rang it off the post, and everyone thought it went in. They rang the horn, and then Byfield came back and scored, and I know I don't wanna sound like a I don't know, just like a dud or whatever you wanna call it, but I didn't like how he waved to the crowd, like, I was like, "You guys blew a 2-0 lead once again. You're playing a Philadelphia team that's not very good. Everyone thought well, maybe everyone thought you had just lost the game? It's just like and you've not really played great all year, like, just get off the ice and, like, I don't know, I thought that was lame, like, I don't know. Not trying
You
to
mean
be a
that was like his 10th goal on the year?
yeah, it's like I'm not trying to be a bitter old man or something, but that's just I mean, that's the thing too. We're playing Philly, in Philadelphia. We don't have like a rivalry. If he did that in Edmonton or something, like I get it, but I don't know.
Well, you heard it here first, everybody, on episode 94 of the Royal Rap Podcast. Tim hates fun.
Generally I'm all about fun. I don't know, that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
He hates fun and personality.
No, I like personality. I was like, man, hey, how about you do that more often? It's like, yeah, like,
Well, it seems to be kind of a thing now. Or I don't know. I mean, Kempe usually always
yeah.
does. If he wins one in OT, he'll usually do something.
That's true, and honestly, I guess maybe I don't like that. I'm always like, "That's kinda lame too," but 'cause it's you know what? Because it usually is, they usually blow a lead, so they have to, like, pray to God they win this thing in overtime or lose in a shootout like usual, you
What
know?
was if he would have won it today after tying it, and then if he'd have gone on to win it, you would have given him a little room to do a celly or something.
Yeah, and if he keeps doing it, for sure.
Episode 94, and we're still hoping for our first listener.
I know.
So
You know,
whoever listens to this podcast or watches it on YouTube, or maybe just, send us an email or something at royalrappodcast@gmail.com, just so we can finally know that we have that one listener.
we've been at this a while for not having any listeners. So
I know.
it's
I
pretty remarkable.
kind of proud of us,
Me too.
like after 93 episodes and we know we don't have any listeners and we just do it anyway.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I think I kind of admire our pluck, we're
Yeah,
plucky.
exactly.
We're just going to keep plugging away. We don't have any listeners. I don't, and where does it say a podcast has to have listeners
I know,
anyway?
who needs listeners anyway, right?
There's like some international board of podcasting in Geneva that says that you're not a podcast if you don't have a certain number of listeners. I mean, we don't need them.
Yeah, exactly. We just we don't need them.
So let's do a little recap. As of February 1st, Sunday in the evening, the Kings are actually, as of 8:19, the first wild card was 60 points.
Alright.
How do we feel about that?
I mean, good, we'll see how long that lasts, and
Well, and when you think that, I think they're only 1 point out of being in third because
yeah, the Pacific is just so
just
far
weird.
away.
And then Vegas only has 64 points in first. It's just a major log jam.
Yeah.
But as I tend to point this out on Twitter a lot. People are probably sick of it, but just the regulation wins thing. It's real. The struggle is real, man.
What are they at now, 14?
14. I don't know if people realize that's like the first tiebreaker when teams are tied,
Mhm,
because seem to get a lot of, you don't really hear the Zach Dooleys or just people kind of riffing on that. It's
mhm,
like, for them to make the playoffs, they're gonna have to just finish above people in points. You know what I mean?
mhm,
They finished tied with 90 points with the Ducks or the Sharks or something. They're probably golfing, right?
mhm.
The Ducks and Sharks have 16 regulation wins right now. And it's true. I mean, there's like 28 games left. I guess if you think about the law of averages, they've already had so many overtime games. You'd think that maybe the law of averages would say, you know, most of the rest of these games are going to just be in regulation, maybe, right?
Man, I hope so because I'm so sick of watching these games go into overtime, and it just seems to be I mean, the Kings are, I think they lead the league in overtimes, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like a lot of games go into OT, and I'm like, I don't like the direction the NHL is going, and if this is gonna be a normal thing, I don't like it at all, man.
Know what the league thinks about it. Just the fact that I don't know who's been talking about it, but it seems like there has been talk about, like, well, maybe you should make overtime 7 minutes or 8 minutes or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been I mean, I hate shootouts. I wish they'd get rid of shootouts. Honestly, I don't know. If there's some way they can
I tend to just, as soon as a game's in a shootout, well, at least a Kings game. If it's some other game with a lot of skilled guys or whatever, maybe I'll watch it. But I tend to just turn off the shootout because I just find it boring
I
because of who Hiller puts out on the shootout, and it'll just tick me off. I don't want to
yeah,
watch.
that's always like a head scratcher. You're like, "What?"
No,
But
I,
I watch them, but then it's just like, what's the point of even playing the game? It's
I mean, I guess if you're watching teams where there's just some legit generational superstars like, McKinnon and McDavid, the Kings don't have anybody like that. Where you just
mm,
like, I absolutely have to see Kevin Fiala in a shootout, or I absolutely have to see, even Kempe. I mean, where it's like, oh God, I hope I can see Kopitar skate in with his slow ass
just can opener for that 100th billionth time.
450th time. It's like, it's not, at least for me, in my close to 40 years of watching the Kings or whatever, or more than that, it's not must see TV for me. I got to be
No,
honest.
I do remember a game, um, if Detroit, playing the Kings at home, and I remember Kane. I was just like, he made the craziest stick handles, and I was just like, "Oh my god." Like, that was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't mention him. He is definitely just one of the sickest guys on the shootout.
Yeah, you're just like, "Holy shit."
Yeah, that's a good guy to mention because, yeah, he is like, and he just skates in just slow as molasses, but he just does like
Yeah.
two stick handles a
Mm.
second. What is happening? Yeah, so I mean, that is a thing, and if they really are serious about making the playoffs, they have to just start banking regulation wins, man.
Well, they have to, and I don't understand. Well, I mean, it's just like, yeah, they have to, and I don't know if it's going to happen though. I really, I mean, because this has been going on all year.
Exactly. It's not, I mean, here it is, what, it's February, man.
Mhm.
It's not just a small sample size. They've done
No.
this year, and as somebody, I forget who it was, somebody on Twitter was like, "Boy, for a team that prides itself on defense, they sure choke away a lot of late leads."
Yeah, that's what I was saying last podcast too. It's just like, that's the thing where I think like, okay, I feel like the team, right? The check engine light has been on since like the end of or it's been on since like the end of the playoffs last season, right? And everyone could see it, but the Kings, the organization in general is just like, no, we're gonna keep driving.
We've all been there. We've driven on it with the check engine light.
Yeah, exactly.
The Kings are driving a check engine light for sure.
And you have options, right? You can take it to the mechanic, you try to fix it yourself, you could sell the car, but they're just like, "Nah, we're just gonna keep doing the same
Just
exact thing.
pull out a few
Keep on
fuses,
driving."
that's it or something, but yeah, this is, right, so, obviously, that's a huge thing. Let's see, what's been Forsberg, he's been nails lately, you
Yeah, he
know,
was so awesome today.
and he's been pretty good for a while now, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
he's had a rough start to the season, but he's been playing pretty well for a long time now.
so
And today
that's
he was really good. Yeah.
yeah, and he's had some good games, of late. So that's cool because, with Kemper, you never really know what's going on, it seems like concussion-wise or whatever.
Yeah, he's been
And
dealing
speaking
with a lot of injuries, yeah, for
Mike Anderson's out,
what was
they
that?
took him it's like Mikey Anderson looks like
Yeah,
he's out because it looks like I mean, he did take that
elbow.
I mean, that's pretty much just a cheap elbow from behind. I'm not sure why it wasn't even more than
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It should have been a major penalty. Yeah,
um,
that's the other thing I was gonna say. The refereeing this season has been just unbelievably awful too. It's like I don't know. I feel like the NHL and the Kings are working hard, working hard for me to try to get me not to watch the games. Between the way the Kings play and how bad these been officiated, and I was watching that Buffalo game was awful too. And Eddie Garcia, on Locked On King was talking about the ref was like he was drafted by Buffalo. Like, are you
I
kidding me?
know.
And then I saw the date, one of the refs was from Carolina. I'm like, "What is going on, man? That's a joke."
I mean, yeah, I'm really surprised, I'd never heard of such a thing happening. And yeah, and I heard him talk about that too. That just kind of blew me away because not only is he from the area or whatever, he's drafted, like you said, he's drafted by the Sabres.
I know, I mean, I was trying to think, like, if you could imagine, like, I don't know, like, a guy who drafted by the Kings out there repping a Kings game, like, if you just saw, like, I don't know.
Well, I'm wondering if like Rob Blake might want to come back as a ref and like regularly work Kings games.
That would be great, right?
He can skate. He's got the skating that you need to be a ref, and just train him up. I don't know how long it takes to become a ref, but I'm sure everybody would be fine with that if Rob Blake was reffing Kings games in the playoffs against the Oilers. I don't know why anybody would object to that.
Yeah, I was trying to, because yeah, everybody knows Blake, but I was trying to think of, like, a guy who maybe just played a handful of games for the Kings, but people know, and you just see him out there, you're just like, what if in a few years Arthur Kaliev's like, like, or, Jared Anderson Dolan or something like that.
It sounded like Cali would have like 50 grand riding on the game though. So that would
Exactly.
all probably a whole nother set of problems.
That's what jogged him into my memory, because it's like, if you're someone who's actually bets on the games and you're like, "What the fuck?" The rest from was drafted by Buffalo, like, if you find out after the game, like, "Whoa, I don't dig that."
Yeah, I mean, they have to look at that. I don't know how that slips through the cracks. It's like
No,
if you're a former player who was drafted I mean, you can't work those games.
it seems like you wouldn't be able to.
Sure. I mean, you expect all those guys to be impartial. That's part of their job, but it just seems like you have to step in and just say, no, you're not. You can't ref
Mhm,
state.
mhm.
No, or not, or maybe there'd have to be like a really long time limit put in place or something, right? Like,
Yeah,
but then again, it's like if you never really played, you probably always remember that, if you never made it in the NHL, you remember fondly maybe who drafted you and gave you a shot, right? So,
absolutely.
yeah, it seemed like that guy should never be working Sabres games. I mean, at the best, he should be like an alternate or something.
Mhm.
They throw out there if somebody gets hurt or something. Yeah, that's really bad. So we talked about the Kings currently in a wild card spot. Do you think that they should be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? And it seems like because of the Olympic break, people are kind of talking about it's almost like there's going to be two.
Mhm.
There's kind of like teams that want to take care of trades before the Olympic break and then maybe try to have it done before the actual NHL deadline. Do you think the Kings should what do you think the Kings should do?
I don't know, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I don't I kind of I feel like the Kings don't know what to do either because it's like, okay, say they went after Panarin, and who knows what they'd have to give up to get him, but, would that solve their problems? Is he gonna keep them from blowing leads all the time? Maybe he helps out the power play enough where there may be a goal, cushion ahead, like, they don't have to worry so much about blowing leads, but I don't know how really that
Yeah,
gets
it
them.
seems them feeling that way because 'cause they're like, "Well, we don't really ever get blown out of games. We usually
No.
just kind of games because we only score 2 goals."
Yeah, and they haven't been shut out this season, which is crazy. They almost got it today.
So you could see how they might think, "Hey, we need to have Panarin in here," right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But it seems I don't know, just going by, like, the 32 Thoughts podcast with Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet,
Mhm.
he's been the Kings and Panarin almost, like, the last 3 episodes, and he even mentioned that he thinks that even the Kings are kind of wondering, like, "Well, what do we have here? Like, what are we really?" Like, sh
And that's the thing that's, like, kind of maddening too is because I'm just like, "You're just trying to figure that out now?" Like,
yeah.
you weren't thinking about that at the beginning or the end of last season, and they just like I said, they've just, like, been driving with the check engine light on and not doing anything about it, and it's like now, the season's halfway over, trade deadline's coming up, and you're thinking like, "What are we?" And, that's the thing too, like, Helenia scored again tonight. It's like and, Hiller didn't even wanna play those dudes, and if I can't even remember who because there's been so many injuries, how he got back in the lineup, but he's been so good, and it's just like, man, these guys, they just are like, have this weird tunnel vision on this idea of how the team should be that I don't if they expect Panarin to, like, fit into that or fix all their problems. He's not going to. And like, there's talk about Kane too. I'm like, I mean, like, what is that
God,
gonna do?
bad. I
Yeah,
cannot
but
believe
what? And honestly, I'm like, they could. I mean, I'm open. I'm open for them. Like trading most guys on the team away. Besides Kempe, Clark.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, who do you think is, like, untradeable?
I would say Kempe, Clark. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I was almost like, "Don't trade Perry." Not that anyone would want him because he's 40 years old, but he's turned into my favorite player, and it's insane. I never thought I would say that. Him kicking
Doesn't he only have
Martinook's ass today for elbowing Anderson, and he's been so good with Kempe lately. I'm like, "Well, yeah, don't break them up." So, I don't know. I'm cool with them trading just about anybody except, well, they probably I mean, Kemper, I wouldn't trade. And that's the thing too, like the prospects, like I wouldn't want him like Greentree, he like sounds exciting to watch. Like I don't want to like miss out on him if he's good. Carter George sounds like he's gonna be awesome, so they shouldn't
they
keep him
they
on.
have good goalies in the pipeline.
Yeah.
That's, like, one of the only strengths. Although that defenseman they drafted, what's his name, like, Buskevich?
Mhm.
He's been tearing it up in the, Ontario Hockey League.
Yeah, I saw some of his stats a few days ago.
So, like, tearing it up almost the way that Brant Clark was. So, whether that would translate to the NHL game, who knows, right? But, I mean, that's kinda
Or
cool.
they'd even give him a chance to that.
Well, exactly, exactly. There's always that. Yeah, I don't know, because it's like, on the one hand, I don't wanna be a hypocrite because 'cause I'm always banging on them about how they're not trying to bring in scoring. So if they went after Panarin, they're kinda like, "Well, okay." But he's 34, right? And it sounds like
Mhm. He wants
he a 4 or 5-year deal or
That's
something,
what I
right?
saw too, and he wants, like, was it 12.5 million a year, something like that? So, I mean, I don't know, that's
Now this dude, mind you, in 804 career games, has 927 points.
jeez.
So, that's like well over a point a game player, right?
Mhm.
That's not that's going back to 2015, right?
That's
2015 season up till now,
that's insane.
so he's got 57 points. So he'd come in and he'd far and away be the Kings' leading scorer
Mhm.
by a lot, right?
Mhm.
See, what does he have? So he's got like 17 power play points this season, 2 goals and 15 assists. I mean, from entertainment value, I'd be like, "Yeah, do it, man."
Mhm.
It would be more exciting
Yeah, it
to have
probably
like a legit like a real star, right? Like a star player.
yeah, that's the thing. I didn't really I was thinking, last season there was like some everyone was playing pretty well last season, right? Towards the end and during the playoffs but they just had that awesome collapse. But you think, okay, if everyone could play up to that potential again and they could get another guy who could score and put up some points, then they would be sitting pretty, right? They'd be looking pretty good. Maybe they're not, gonna win a Stanley Cup or even, but they'll probably get out of the first round. But now everyone has been well. Today is a different story. They've looked a little better, but everyone's just not been playing up to what they were last season. So I don't know if bringing like Panarin in would help with them getting out of the first round of the playoffs. I don't know, but it would make it would make the games more exciting for the rest of the season. So hey, I'm for it because I'm so bored to death watching these dudes. Like I'm
Yeah.
excited for I always I used to always hate like the Olympic break and when they did Four Nations last year, even though that tournament was so cool. I'm like, no, I just want to keep watching the Kings. Now I'm like, man, this break is gonna be awesome.
No, I know. I always like when they have the NHLers in the Olympics because it's pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Best on best.
But I don't know. But who do you think? And that's the other thing. I think like who would you think they'd give up for him?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know what the Rangers would want back. I wouldn't want them to trade Brant Clark for Panarin.
Yeah.
I don't think they would. Well, just because they're so lacking in offense from the blue line, he's the only glimmer of hope back there.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. I mean, he's also even with defensive metrics, he's still better than pretty much all the other defensemen. So there's really
Mhm.
not, and yet he still won't have. He still doesn't have the minutes of Doughty and stuff.
Yeah. Which is just crazy.
And how many more years does he have in his contract? I should have looked that up.
Dowdy?
Is it just next year and then it's it? That's it.
Yeah.
So next year's his final year, right?
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if you know, if he would maybe I'm sure he would be open to a trade. I don't know. I listened to, I don't know how many Kings fans listened to him on the Spin and Chicklets podcast, but he didn't come up across as like the best like team player. You know what I mean? Like he was talking about well, it was like it's been cool because Stoley was on that Elman podcast, the dude who used to play for the Patriots and Gabrick was on Spin Chicklets a while ago, and it was cool, listening to them and, talking about those cup runs. And it was Gabrick talking about, playing for the Rangers and how guys, just in practice would take runs at him because he was the new guy and he was taking like a teammate's spot. And so, you know, even he was talking about getting into like a shoving match with Tortorella. It just sounded like, like, man, like, hockey was still pretty tough back then. But he was talking about Sutter, and he was just saying, was it him or was it Dad? No, I think it was Gabrick. He was talking about you just never knew what you were gonna get with Sutter. He'd be happy when you're thinking he's gonna be mad. He'd be mad when he should be happy. He just always kept you on your toes. And I think he said one practice, they just, they were starting to skate, and he just started shooting pucks at everybody. Oh my god, what a psycho!
That's so cool.
Yeah, so those were so I don't know, if we have a listener, go check out those interviews, they're pretty cool. But yeah, the Dowdy one, I was just like, man, like, I don't know. He just kept on talking about how the Olympics, and that's all he could think about was playing for, Team Canada. And he was he did talk a few about, he said like when he signed, his long-term deal and then they went into that rebuild, he's saying how it was like pretty hard for him. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this dude. I don't know. So I'm just saying I'm sure he'd be open for trade and they'd probably have to retain part of his crazy contract. And that's the other thing too. He he said he talked to Kempe about, his contract, and he said that, Kempe was just like, he didn't wanna hurt the team by taking, like, some giant deal, and Daddy told him, like, "No, get your money and get what you're worth," and it did seem like Daddy felt like, his contract, hurt the team, and he gets that, so, I don't know, it was a good interview, I guess, but I kind of feel like Daddy's just like, maybe, I don't know, kinda checked out on the Kings a little.
Yeah, he does seem to have a Team Canada obsession,
Mm,
with edit and everything, but
yeah.
I don't know if they're regretting naming him because his numbers the last, like, month have been pretty putrid.
Yeah, and especially, over, Bouchard's just he's been going off for the Oilers.
I mean, he's a huge weapon when he's going right. I mean,
Mhm,
obviously, his defense is terrible.
mhm,
So I get if you're just like yeah, if you it's just really defense over offense, I guess. I guess
mhm,
they played safe and that. But even defensively, I mean, Doughty, he's like a shell of his former self,
mhm,
which is why,
absolutely.
when you see him out there start like, opening overtime, you're like, God,
Yeah,
you should have Clark out there.
and I think even next season, I think he'll s if he comes back next season,
But
and
that's kind
finishes
of
out his
why
contract year.
trade him or buy him out because
Yeah,
he's blocking Clark's progress.
and he is, and they refuse to not give him top minutes, and I don't think next season, I don't unless they get a new coach, I don't which I absolutely think they should've by now, like, I think he'll be getting top minutes still, you know?
That's just maddening.
Mhm.
So, boy, I guess we kind of hem and hawed about it. I mean, I think they should kick the tires on Panarin, but I mean, it would fit with their worldview that we're this close.
Yeah,
You
they're
you think If you really think that, you would be all in on him, I
Mhm,
guess. Even though it sounds like, according to Elliot Friedman, like even in the Kings front office, they don't seem to really, in reality, they don't really seem to think they're that close.
no,
You know
and
what I mean?
how could they,
And
you
of course,
know?
we wouldn't know because Ken Holland doesn't do any media or does Robitaille and stuff. So it's like you don't really know what they think,
Mm-mm,
right?
mm-mm.
And what's Hiller going to say in those pressers? Or what are the players going to say? I mean, it's like how could they, based on what they've done this year, it's like, how could you really think that they're just like one tweak away from going on a huge run? It just doesn't pass the eye test.
No, not at all. I mean, and if they're a serious team, or a serious organization, they know.
Because if you go for Panarin, I mean, how many years of that contract will he be good? Like two?
That's what I was gonna say too.
Maybe like three if you're lucky. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't really know what his fitness routine is. Some guys, they take such good care of themselves. Or
Mm,
even look at Eric. He's 41. Yeah, obviously the point per game guy, but I mean, you do see guys playing like, close to their 40s.
mhm. I mean, look at Ovechkin, and he just drinks, like, Dr. Pepper and on the bench and
Hot
smokes
dog.
cigarettes. I mean, imagine if he was all into
It's just
fitness and stuff like McKinnon, and diet.
bestowed with, the greatest shot in the world. Have to take care of himself. He could just crank pucks in from that spot till the end of
Mhm.
time. No, it's true. You never really know. I mean, he could be good for three of those, and then you'd have like a point per game guy for 3 seasons. Be kind of
I
awesome.
mean, that would be cool. They're gonna need somebody to fill in Kopitar's I mean, I know he's not a center, but they're gonna need somebody to put up points like that.
Well, I guess that's the thing. I mean, he's not a center; he's a
Mm,
winger, so they're still going to have that problem. And with Byfield, it's like he seems to have like he's either terrible in faceoffs or he's really good. Like today, he was really good.
mhm,
I think he was good in that Flyers game too.
mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe he could sort that out and be more consistent. He seems to just be all over the place. Like he'll have some of those numbers. Remember that game a couple of weeks ago? He won like three faceoffs or something.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
remember?
I think he was
No,
like
that was against the Rangers. That Rangers game.
I think he was like 2 for 15 or something.
I mean, God, appalling stuff, right? So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But as long as they can tell themselves they're only 4 points out of first in the Pacific, who
Isn't
knows?
and that's the crazy thing. A team that's been playing so
That they all
underwhelming is
say that
only
it's
yeah.
probably that's good enough for they've finished third most of these last few seasons. So it's like, we're only a point out of third right now as we speak.
It's just so amazing that that's the way it's shaken out, and how bad the Pacific is that that's where they're at.
Yeah, and I wonder if they are really that, because sometimes you'll watch Vegas, they look like they can beat anybody, but then they'll come back and they'll just get smoked by some nobody team, and you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Oilers. So we'll just keep.
I
It's
want
definitely come down to, and they're probably going to be in it till the last couple of games of the season, unless they
Mhm.
go on a real heater. And like winning 5 regulation games in a row or something.
Yeah.
And they haven't shown any signs of being able to do that.
Yeah, they haven't done that all year, but so they're really due for one, but I'll believe it when I see it.
And I didn't look today to see what their last time I looked, they were still, according to Money Puck, that they do the playoff odds for every day they updated, and they still seem to have like 70 something chance of making the playoffs percentage wise. Seems crazy. I don't know
It
how,
does.
but then again, if you end up the second wild card, you just have to play the Avalanche. Good luck with that.
I mean, that wouldn't that be so embarrassing? It would be just embarrassing to watch.
I mean, I don't know how that's not just a brutal 4 game sweep, but
Me either. I think they could, like, rest McKenna and just, like, just get up in us.
they could be like, look, this is kind of unprecedented, but here's what we're going to do. Makar, McKenna, Dimitrov, we're not going to play in a couple of games. We're just going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And if we're up 2-0 after 2, we're just going to keep setting you guys.
Yeah.
The Kings are going to have to take a game from us before we even think about icing you guys. Could totally, could totally see that. It'd be a huge sign of disrespect, but watch, they probably
It would be so disrespectful, but it would be funny to see.
unbelievable. Well, as always, we always have some good laughs talking about our favorite hockey team, the LA Kings.
You have to.
It's but we've been talking about it for a few seasons now on here that the Ducks and Sharks aren't going to be down forever. This is your window, and guess what? Sharks and Ducks are back.
Windows closed.
Yeah, the window is like, I don't even know. I think the window was these 4 losses to the Oilers. I think
Mhm,
that window, and now the window is pretty much shut.
mhm,
And it's back east where this blizzard is, so it's just frozen shut as far
mhm.
as I can tell.
Yep.
Now, if you could squeeze Panarin through the crack in that window, maybe it would open up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
No, definitely make for some more exciting hockey to watch from a fan viewpoints, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And if it isn't, then we all know there's just something really rotten with this team if he's comes here and just, like, nosedives.
But then, if he shows up and they just give him like a binder this high with how you're supposed to play defense in Los Angeles, he's probably not going to do it. He's probably not going to score,
Yeah.
right? Because
Bye-bye
if
point per game.
they want to suck the scoring out of everybody,
Mhm.
so they're not going to let him be himself. The guy who has 927 points in like just over 800 games. Then what's the point?
I don't yeah. I mean, they'd have to, right? I mean, that would be the dumbest thing.
If Hiller's like, yeah, we've got Panarin penciled in on the third line.
Yeah.
We've got Hellenius up front with Kempe and Turcotte. Just the hell of it. Let's see what works. Hilarious stuff. Well, any final thoughts, Tim?
I was gonna say, like, what do you think's up with Vogel? Like, they haven't even mentioned him the last 2 games. I know today they didn't have, like, a pregame show, but, he was a healthy scratch, and I was like, "Huh, I wonder if they're looking to trade him. I wonder if he asked to be traded." It's kind of like a
Oh, I hope not.
or I don't know, what do you think? Or you think they just, like
Hey, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I saw that he was a healthy scratch, and my initial reaction was like, well, that make about
yeah,
time.
he's been playing really, really bad, so maybe that's all it is.
This whole season has just been awful. It's like,
Yeah.
why not? I can see that happening, but
Yeah, but they don't even mention it, so I was like, "Huh, I don't know." But yeah, and that's a shame too because he was so good last year, so
he was a
Mhm, mhm,
because he just had a hell of a year. And
mhm.
so kind of had him penciled in for like, oh, if he's going to score 20 something goals again this year, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was part of the off-season if of like, well, what is Baisho going to do? Is he going to step forward? Well, no, he's taking a step back. It's like, well, is Trevor Moore back? Like, no, he hasn't. He hasn't really been good in like 3 seasons.
Yep, exactly.
So his game's not coming back.
Vogel's been bad.
Oh, he thought, oh, he'll and he's done nothing.
Mhm.
So that it's quite a lot of goals to just kind of take off the table.
Yeah, and plus with the Dogon, and that's what I was
So
thinking about too, like, everyone, people talk about, guys wanting to leave the Kings or maybe not come here. And then I totally forgot how, remember, like, Jeannot didn't want to resign here, or he has to be traded too. And he's doing okay in Boston. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. I
and
mean, that,
Gavrikov didn't seem interested in resigning at all.
yeah, like I said, I listened to Cohen's thing, and he had, Fuda said that Gavrikov told him he wasn't going to resign before the playoffs, so last year. So
Yes, I mean that there's just and then with Danault asking for a trade, it's just I don't know. There's it's too much smoke to not have
yeah,
a
not to be a fire, yeah.
in that dressing room or something's up, man.
I just wonder. That's why I wondered too if Panarin comes and it's like, man, or maybe he doesn't even. Maybe he won't sign. Remember, like, nah, this. I've heard a lot of bad things because he's hoping he's with Gavrikov, like they're friends.
They just got reunited, so but if he wants 50 mil in 4 or 5 years, then he'll
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
just go
yeah,
wherever they give him that, I guess, if that's really what what he wants. Well, we will remain faithful to the Kings. Got like what 2 more games before the Olympic break. Should be able to see some pretty awesome hockey, provided that they actually have functioning rinks and ice. Because it seemed like as of just like 3 or 4 weeks ago, they seemed like I don't know. There was a it didn't seem like the playing surfaces and the rinks were really gonna be up to, like, international tournament quality, but
yeah. I saw like they were super small.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully, they have it sorted, but Elliot Friedman was saying on his podcast, that the players, no matter what the conditions are or whatever, the players are the ones that are gonna make it a great tournament because they're the best players in the world
that's true.
playing for their home countries, right? So, from that perspective, it should be good.
Yeah, no, I think.
So then we shall say, "Go Kings, go."